Hello, welcome to Have Roots Will Travel. My name is Lisa Elvin Staltari, and I'm a genealogist and a passionate traveler. Over the last year, we've been traveling, but back in time. We've been looking at Les Filles du Roi, the king's daughters, who were the founding mothers of, to me, of North America. We're taking each one of them and kind of examining their life and really paying homage to these remarkable women. So before we get started, let me just make sure you know that previous episodes are on my website, haverootswilltravel.com. And if you want to know when I post new content, it's one of two ways. You can subscribe to my Facebook page and get notifications alert, or you can subscribe, which I'd love you to do, on my YouTube channel and click on the bell and you'll get notified as well. Also, if you want to like this video, that would help it out as well, get the word out. And with that, let us get started and explore the Filles du Roi for this episode. Her name was Anne Julienne Dumont. And she is actually a viewer request. And when I looked in my files, I saw that one of my dear teenage friends and young adult friends, who she knows, we share almost the same birthday, and also the husband of one of my dear friends here in Arizona. And so let's have a look at the story of Anne Julienne Dumont. Anne Julienne was born about 1646 in the historic town of Metz, which is found in the Grand Est region of France. You can see it on the map on the upper left. I've circled the region of France where it's found. The Grand Est region comprises the historic provinces of Alsace, Champagne, Ardennes, and Lorraine. So if you're looking for doing research in France, this Grand Est comprises those provinces that existed before the French Revolution. As you can see, it borders Belgium, Luxembourg, Germany, and Switzerland. The department, which is the county where she would have been born in, is called Moselle. And it actually has about 1 million people. And Metz is the prefecture or capital of this county. Metz is currently a city of about 120,000, but its history dates over 3,000 years, and it was at one time its own country until Henry II in 1552 claimed Metz as part of the French kingdom. This is the Metz that Anne Julienne would have been born into. The church where she would have been born into is right here in the bottom left and would date from the 13th or 14th century. Here you can see the on the upper, not the upper right, but the bottom right, just what it looks like today. You can see how beautiful it is. And I posted this because this is when they came in. It's a picture of when Henry II in 1552 declared, captured Metz as part. And I saw this picture in my research and I thought, that's marvelous. So I wanted to share it with you. So this is where she comes from. It's pretty far removed from New France. I don't know if her parents were living or anything like that, but we do know that she left for Canada in 1665 at about age 19. She sailed on the Jean-Baptiste de Dieppe, so she would have gone to Dieppe to take the boat on June 18th, 1665. And that was her ticket to a new life. She selects, and who selects her, is René Dubois de Brisebois. And he was born in 1639 in a commune called Cissé. His parents were Louis Dubois and Jeanne Naudin. And his little township is in a region called Nouvelle-Aquitaine, which encompasses the ancient provinces of Aquitaine, Limousin, and Poitou-Charentes. And his département, or as we call it here in America, county, is Vienne, and you can see it circled there. And that encompasses ancient towns of Poitou, Touraine, and Berry, or districts, I should say. Cisse has been around since like 928, which is the very first time it is featured. The church where he would have been baptized is called l'Église Saint-Pierre et Lienne, and it obviously dates from the 12th and 13th century. It has been rebuilt many, many, many times. So he comes, now the actual place, Cisse, probably has about 3,000 people living there. So it's a very, very small village, really. Let's find out when he comes over to New France. So Rene arrives in New France as early as 1658, and he would acquire land in 1659 at Beauport and another piece of land on the island of Orleans in 1660. So it's interesting to note, did he come as an engagé, or did he come as somebody who had means to be able to settle down, so to speak. So very interesting to do further research on this. By 1665, he was indeed ready for a wife, and they were married November 25th, 1665, in Quebec City, and that is their marriage record. So they would end up settling, René and Julienne would end up settling down in Quebec City. Let's review a little bit about Quebec. It is the capital city of the province of Quebec. 500,000 people live directly in Quebec City. And it was originally named, Quebec was originally named by the Algonquins, who named the area Quebec, which K-E-B-E-C, which in their native language meant where the river narrows. And Quebec City lies where the St. Lawrence River narrows. Samuel de Champlain founded a French settlement here in 1608 and called it Ville de Québec, or Quebec City. The city walls, it actually had city walls to protect it, which surround it still, date back to this time period, making Quebec City the only city with remaining city walls in North America. There is so much to see in Quebec City, but I've chosen the buildings that were there when they lived there, just so to give you an idea of like, okay, they could have seen these buildings, or these environments at that time. So Maison Jacquette is the oldest surviving private residence in Quebec. It actually houses a very distinct restaurant called Aux Anciens Canadiens. We have the Ursuline Monastery, where many of the filles du roi stayed at that time. Petit Champlain is a shopping center. It is actually the oldest shopping, area, commercial center in North America. And then we have the Auberge Place d'Armes on your left. That was actually built in 1620 for one of the original pioneers, the Couture family, Guillaume Couture, and Couillard, I'm sorry, not Couture, Couillard. A wonderful restaurant called Bistro 1640 is found on the first floor, and the Auberge de Trésor Hotel occupies the upper 2 floors. And I included the breakneck stairs. These stairs actually originally were part of the Samuel de Champlain's actual residence, and they built these wooden stairs, and then over time, the house left, and so they are there still in Quebec City. They have been built and built and built of different materials. Finally, in the 1960s and 70s, they, solidified them, made them in cement. And somebody came up with the notion that they're breakneck. You're going to break your neck on these stairs. No one, to my knowledge, has ever broken their neck, but they call it in French casse-cou. Tu vas casser ton cou. You're going to break your neck, in other words. So these are kind of like the areas where Julienne and René would have seen during their time in Quebec City. René and Julienne would have 10 children. Their firstborn, Dorothée, married Jean Janvier and had 2 children, both of whom made it. And then she married Étienne Biguet and had 7 children, 3 of whom made it. François married Couillard Vinet and had 3 children, all of whom made it. Marie-Madeleine married Étienne Lafont, but did not have any children. Margaret married twice, but did not have any children. Françoise married Joseph François Réau and had 8 children, all of whom survived. Jean-Baptiste married Marguerite André and had 7 children, all of whom survived. Louise married Louis Philippot and had 2 children, both of whom survived. Claude married Marie Ursule Adam and had 5 children, all of whom made it. Elisabeth married Jacques Richaud and had 12 children, 9 of whom made it. Jean-Baptiste married Marie Simon and had 1 child who made it before his untimely death at 28. René would pass away in April of 1700 at the age of 51, very, very early, and is buried at the Saint Francois du Lac Cemetery. They would have been married 35 years upon his passing. And Julienne would pass away 4 years later at the age of 58. So they are both buried at the cemetery. I do not have records for their deaths. I'm always so excited when I see that there is an association, l'Association des Familles du Bois. I've included a link for you as well. This is absolutely something that I would recommend you look at to see the research that they have done and all of the links that they would have as well. So that is always a pleasure to present. Here are some further resources for you. La Société des Filles du Roi, which has been in existence since 1994. It really is a remarkable lineage society. There is a payment, but there, a membership fee, if you will. But there are places on the website that you can go on and explore a little bit without being a member. I used it even before I became a member for years, and then I became a member, and then now I'm a membership chairperson. So I speak highly of it, especially if you're doing Fig du Roi research. Then we have the Quebec Genealogical E-Society. I recently did a webinar for them. Really, really up and coming, I think. And then we have Nos Origines, which is a really good group effort, if you will. And Généalogie Québec. It is a paying website. I couldn't do what I do without it. It's tremendous. I'm not sure how much it is per month, but whatever it is, I'm very willing to pay. Migration is a free website, but I do donate to them because it's just a labor of love for these people and just a tremendous, everything you ever wanted to know about Fig du Roi. And then we have the Facebook group as well. That is truly a warm and generous place, which Facebook often isn't, but this group is really, really kind. So check it out. And so ends our episode 129. I can't believe we're there already. And Julienne and René were really pioneers in Quebec City. And their descendancy as of 1729 is remarkable. As of 1729, they would have 142 descendants just in that short time. So, and the Dubois name is one that is extremely well represented in Quebec. I want to thank Anne Julienne for her life and her contribution, the sacrifices she would have made. And I think that there's something to be said for someone who stays the course, even though their lives were, cut short. They didn't live extraordinarily long lives. They were able, while they lived, to give to us and contribute to the tapestry and the story that is Quebec and in North America. So for that, we thank her and we bless her memory. Until I see you on episode 130, au revoir.